It was a big game and a massive total put on by Team India after being put into bat by Shakib Al Hasan. 184 is the final reckoning, and 184 for 6 in their 20 overs, led by Virat Kohli, 64 of 44. He spent a lot of that time actually watching the batsman at the other end. First KL Rahul, then Surya Kumar Yadav. That partnership with Surya made 30, Virat made just 5, and then he took over till the end of the innings, remained unbeaten, and it was 3 half-centuries that determined the outcome of the innings. Virat Kohli, KL Rahul and Shoriful Islam also getting past his own half-century, which is not one he'd remember. 57 in his 4 overs, and Bangladesh didn't really have a 6th bowler to turn to. Here on Cricbuzz Live to assess the first half of that India-Bangladesh encounter, Zaheer Khan and Joy Bhattacharjya. Zaheer, it's a total that, first and foremost, you predicted. You said 180, yes. 185, spot on in between, 184. And it's not just your prediction, but I think India would have settled for that at the very start.
Yeah, looking at how the tournament has gone so far, this total is a very good total. You can say that this is a winning total. And Bangladesh will have to really bat out of their skin to get to this total, because you look at the highest score also, what they've so far scored in these conditions is nowhere close. So that's something which will be playing on their mind for sure. India and especially Virat Kohli in this tournament now, what, this is 3rd not out? I think that is the interesting part, So when you are in form, you make it count, and you've been getting out in the last maybe few innings, which everyone have been talking about, shows that Virat right now is valuing his wicket so much that once he's in, he doesn't want to throw that away.
And you could see not just his own innings, you would be mistaken for seeing that he's probably hit many more boundaries than he actually did, because every time the non-striker or the striking batsman, when he was the non-striker, hit a boundary, he was fist pumping even more than the actual batsman. So he enjoyed the other's success, enjoyed the team's success, enjoyed his own success, and of course, he loves the Adelaide Oval. Joy, before I come to you, quickly let me throw these at you. First Test ton, of course, in 2012, hundreds in each innings on his Test captaincy debut in 2014, 107 against Pakistan in the World Cup of 2015, 90 against Australia in a T20I in 2016, then another 100, 74 in the pink ball test, and a half-century against Bangladesh in the T20 World Cup 2022. So that's how much he loves this ground.
Just an amazing record. It's an absolutely amazing. It's like Rohit Sharma in Eden Gardens. I mean, that's a fantastic record, especially for a place which is not your home ground or not in your part of the world. It's absolutely sensational. What I found really interesting about his innings, though, was that he batted for a majority of the time, because Rohit went out pretty early, but he faced only 44 balls. That means whatever he was doing, he was hitting it when it came, but he was turning the strike to the other person. And when Surya was in form, he was giving it to Surya. When Ashwin hit a few sixes, he said, keep going. What he was telling the other guys, just keep hitting. And then when they couldn't hit or the situation came, there was no more time, then he started hitting as well. So I think that's what he did beautifully. He played comparatively a riskless innings. He didn't take too many risks, but he still ended up on a strike rate of 145. And I think it's a pivotal innings. The way he's played it is and this is the template, say, we were looking for from Kane Williamson yesterday. You don't need to bat at 160, 180. There are players like Surya Kumar or Dinesh DK who can do it for you. But you can score at 145, 150, and that's really useful for your team.
Yeah, and you can improve on it. I mean, even if Virat himself might have been at 110 at one point in time, he quickly improved on it towards the end, and I think it's a good parallel to draw with Kane Williamson there. But if you look at that card, the partnership between Kohli and Rahul, the only image we had of the Indian team at the Adelaide Oval and the build-up to this match was Rahul having a chat with Virat Kohli in the nets on the eve of the game, Zaheer. Kohli obviously saying a few things to him. We don't know what exactly was said, but it's worked.
Well, I think we did speak about batsmen getting into that zone. We did speak about if you have the ability and the quality which KL Rahul has, you're just 1 innings away from the big innings. So it's great to see that he's ticked that box. He's got this 50 in this World Cup, because it's important to make sure at some stage you get the runs and then you get a move on. So I think in KL's case, hopefully in this World Cup, this innings is going to go a long way. From India's point of view, it's going to go a long way because the importance of openers contributing with good runs is something which is very important and is talked about a lot, especially when you getting into the business end of the tournament. When you look at that Indian batting lineup, everyone in that have contributed so far in the tournament, which is the most important thing. KL Rahul today got that 50. Virat has been fantastic. Rohit Sharma also got that 50 the other day. Surya has been in terrific form. Hardik has scored runs against Pakistan. So you have the batting lineup having spent enough time out there in the middle and getting those runs or those innings under their belts is going to be so crucial going forward. Unfortunately, Dinesh got run out today, but that's something which is very vital from India's point of view if you have to sustain this batting form and the expectations which everyone has from this batting lineup, especially when now Bumrah is not there. When it's going to really count, you need your batters to fire. So from that point of view, I think it's been good run so far for the Indian team.
And Joy, you pointed out about KL Rahul's innings. It was sort of, yes, you're one innings away from the big time, but you're also sometimes one stroke away from that big innings. And today he hit that 1-6, started out with a few dot balls, then the 6, then again he back to a strike rate of about 100, 20 of 18, and then that big over from Shoriful.
Yeah, absolutely. He played himself back into form, and I think always you ask any batsman whether he wants to play from the first ball, feeling the ball, or if he plays his way back and then makes it, count. And I think he'd credit himself the fact that he wasn't, he got one good hit, but then he wasn't really hitting the rest of the ball. So I think this is a very important innings for him, and you're absolutely right. It's equally important to what Virat was doing at the other end, encouraging him, telling him, come on, play your shots, you can play it, you can do it. I think that's what happened so well in those two partnerships, Virat and KL Rahul and Virat and Surya Kumar. And both of them, the aggressors were at the other end. The aggressor, it was always Surya or it was Rahul. But Virat was a constant factor, and that's the job India has got him to do. And I think he's doing a fantastic job of it. He's playing his way around other people, but still giving you a strike rate of 145. And I think that is fantastic for the country.
Yeah, I mean, just to finish off on that, I mean, overall as an innings, I know Joy referred to Kane Williamson. It's the kind of thing you need in a T20 game. I mean, you don't have to have necessarily someone getting 100, which is great, but the kind of role Virat played and everyone else playing around him in that sense, and then being the aggressors, which is almost a formula that you can look at that's going to work for you going into not just the next game, but the crucial knockouts.
Well, that has been the formula for Virat over the years, isn't it? Like he likes to get himself in and then really attack at the back end of the innings. He loves to play that anchor role, and that is something which gives the other guys also the freedom to rally around him and take those extra risks when you know that a batter is going to hold the other end. It's always the collective run scoring which matters. It's always that if you are able to keep up with the rate, you will get to the total which you've seen today. If Hardik had clicked at that stage, maybe you would have added 15-20 runs extra. So that is something is always going to happen, and Virat pushes that strike rate higher and higher as he goes in his innings.
But Joy, if you have a look at the Bangladesh bowling, I think the one area they feel that they've missed a trick is not having someone to turn to. Anyone's allowed to have a bad day. Shoriful went for that huge over. We were talking on Cricbuzz Combox. Does he go back to him? And our first response was, no, he shouldn't, doesn't need to, but he didn't have anyone.
He didn't have anyone. He didn't want to go back to the spinners at that stage. And I think what he felt was spinners gripping the ball is difficult under these conditions. Look, remember, Shakib is the kind of bowler who's not really a spinner in that sense. He's like a slow bowler who uses it. It's not that he turns the ball very much. He's just a very sharp and smart bowler in the way he, plays. And he bowls wide. He knows at what angle he's going to give it to you. So but he felt traditional spinners would have, got tonked straight. And I think that's what he had to do. And so he went, look, my point is that I think Bangladesh did all they did really well. They said, we'll play 5 specialist bowlers, we'll try and put pressure on the Indians, we'll try and get wickets. It didn't work out, but that doesn't mean I feel as a strategy was wrong. Shoriful went for too many runs, and I think those no balls cost them, really maybe 10, 15 extra runs. But that's my point, that the Indians batted very well. I don't think the Bangladesh team bowled particularly badly. I thought Mustafizur bowled well. I thought Shakib very bowled. I thought Tuskin was the best bowler today.
I mean, in a 184 total, to go for 15 runs in his 4 overs was absolutely outstanding. Look at that, 15 in his 4 overs. So the rest of the 16 overs have actually given away.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things,
69.
they took Taskin for 4 overs up front, because they said that if they have any chance of winning the match, it is to get wickets, and Taskin was the person who's best equipped to get wickets. So I like the cards Bangladesh, whatever cards they had, they played. The fact that India batted so well, you know, this thing. But at the end of the day, you have to admire that they played this game smartly. It's just that Virat batted out of his skin, and so did Surya and Rahul.
Yeah, I mean, it was something that you'd want to see teams do if someone is really impactful up front. I remember a few years ago in the 50-over game, they had a left-arm swing bowler called Syed Russell, who's actually bowled a full 10-over spell in a 50-over game.
I think tactically they were spot on. The change which they've made, they gave themselves the best chance. If it was not for that, you know, the score might have been more than what you're seeing right now. So they've done well to contain India at 185. I would say. Taskin was pick up the bowlers. He was fantastic with the new ball and created that pressure. On the whole, I think you just have to see how they go on about now batting. Right, they did whatever they could with the ball in hand. Just about now going out there and looking and giving themselves the best chance. For that, the start is going to be the most important thing. You know, for India to feel the pressure of defending this total, you need to start really well. Doesn't look like it's going to be that easy, but I think looking at the conditions, the shorter boundaries as well, square of the wicket, that is something which will come into play. But on the whole, I think Bangladesh did whatever they could with the ball in hand. The focus is now on batting and how they go on about achieving this target.
Power play will be important for the Bangladesh batters, as it will for the Indian bowlers to try and keep them down. We've been seeing scores in the 30s or sometimes the early 40s as pretty much of an average power play score in this tournament. India too didn't have an explosive power play, but they just waited, they bided their time, and then they got to the 184. Quick look at the points table before we wrap here. If India do go on to win this game, they will get to the top, obviously provisionally at the top, with South Africa not having played their 4th game. So India will be on 6, Bangladesh will stay on 4 points, and all the teams have at least a game to play. So plenty to play for, and India know they have that game against Zimbabwe. Only Netherlands officially in terms of points eliminated. But quick one. Bangladesh at this stage, give me a score you see them reaching. You could well say 184, but
yeah, look, I think this is a decent team, but again, this Bangladesh team, I feel, will try and go for 185. They might not get, so you might see them collapse for 110, 120, because this is a Bangladesh team who's playing their cards. And if you have to play your cards, that means in these conditions you have to say, okay, maybe the power play, because the ball is doing a bit in these kind of conditions, you don't need 60 in the power play, maybe you need 35, 40. But I think after that, they are going to try and hit the Indian spinners. If they get out, they get out. But I think they in the fielding side, they played brave cricket. I hope they continue to play brave cricket.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't expect them to be 133 for 3 after 20.
Well, you just got to have the right approach, and the right approach is to go for the win. In the process, if you're losing wickets, so be it. In the process, you're not going to reach the total which you have in mind, but you still got to have that intent and approach, and that's what you would want to see. I think around 140, 145 is what I'm expecting from Bangladesh batting lineup. That should be the approach, unless they surprise me. But I think looking at how the way things have been, looking at the form of Indian bowlers as well, Ashdeep, who has been consistently picking up wickets at the top, if he's in that kind of a form and Bangladesh doesn't get off to that kind of a start, then things will be difficult.
Well, that's all we have. Things are underway at the Adelaide Oval. We just hope the weather stays and Duckworth-Lewis turn doesn't play a part in this run chase. We will see you with our regular date at the halfway point on Cricbuzz Combox. For now, from Joy, Zaheer and myself, that's all we have on Cricbuzz Live.